Hi guys, today we are working on rejection energy. This whole month of February, we have been working on healing our romance. I said that so weird. Our romance energies, our romantic energy field. This is like half of a little best friend's heart necklace, like from the 90s. Um, you are in charge of your half, and as you upgrade your half, it makes it so that your other half kind of upgrades as well. We're not controlling them, we're not forcing them. We're just kind of banking on the reality that um, whenever one person kind of levels up, the people around them also have an invitation to level up as well. And it's going to be on a different timeline. It's not always going to look the way that we expect. If you're going through this process, and now we're on day 12, woohoo, we've actually made a ton of progress ourselves, you and me, right? And maybe your spouse or the person you're dating or the person you're not dating yet, but who will come into your life soon, maybe they're not doing this kind of work, and maybe they're not experiencing the shifts that you wish that they were on the timeline that you wish that they were. That's okay. We just have faith and trust that us working on ourselves opens up the path for the people around us to level up as well. What I've found in my own life is that, so I've been at this for 10 years. My husband does not believe in any of the stuff that I do, and he does not do any of this work. I do not do this work for him, except under like very, I mean, I have in my life, I have done some of this work for him, but certainly not more than like 3 hours worth over the past 10 years. Like I can't imagine that it has added up to more than that amount of time for him because he doesn't believe in it. He doesn't want anything to do with that, but he has still experienced these different shifts in his life through different divine means. Okay, we heal ourselves and trust that God is going to take care of the rest. It's not going to be on our timeline. We as we release our frustration, we find peace anyway. We find peace in the timeline, and that's what this is all about. It's about us healing ourselves so that we can find peace in the timeline, so that we can just be happy every day. That's what I want for all of us. Can we just wake up and be happy every day? We don't have to have $1 million houses. We don't have to have fancy cars. We don't have to eat out every single night. We don't have to have spouses that agree with us on every single thing. Can we be happy anyway? Can we just have this? I'm recording in my husband's office because I have no space of my own in my house. And guess what? Can I be happy with that? Sometimes I'm still not happy with that, but many days I'm cool with it because we work on ourselves and find peace where we're at. And that is the point. Okay, today we are working on rejection energy. And as a reminder, all of these sessions are in a playlist here on my channel. So like and subscribe and head over to that playlist and watch from the beginning, because you are going to experience some serious shifts in the area of love and romance this month and in the following months as you work through these issues. Again, today we're working on rejection energy. And I think this makes a lot of sense. When it comes to romance, what is more devastating than rejection? This is the one sphere of our lives where we are the most vulnerable and where rejection hurts the absolute most. I'm going to tell you a secret story, which is that when I was in high school, I was absolutely head over heels crazy for this one guy. And I was so crazy for him. First off, all of my friends hated it. They were like, "Oh, Allie, shut up. Stop talking about it." Because all I did was talk about him. I like journaled about him all day. I just like mooned over him, from across the way. He never did anything. I mean, like nothing ever happened. I just spent my life longing and pining for this unrequited love, but it was so intense that I like could not even talk to him, basically. Like I was not a functional person in his presence. But there was this other guy that was pretty cool, and after I realized, like, okay, this with the guy I really like, nothing will ever happen, I was like, maybe something could happen with this other guy. And so I was like, so I developed this like crush on this other guy, and I did tell him, and I tried to kind of take the lead with that. It did not work. It was a disaster, of course, as it goes like that. Um, but I look back on that, and even in the moment, I knew what was really happening. Even in the moment, in my journals, there is the written record that I truly knew that I really was crazy about this other guy. But if that other guy rejected me, I would never recover. But if this guy that I liked less rejected me, I would definitely recover, right? What basically the inspiring thing there for me, what inspired all of my weirdo actions when I was 15 years old, um, was this fear of rejection. and knowing I could never really be vulnerable with the guy that I liked, because if he rejected me, I couldn't survive it. But I could be more vulnerable with people I didn't really like, because if they rejected me, it wasn't the end of the world, which was good because I was certainly rejected. So that, it was what it was. Okay, we fear rejection. We hate rejection. We reject other people. Um, and I think a lot of times we kind of bring rejection on to ourselves when we live in a space of terror. Like when I think back at the story I just told, man, if the guy that I told that I liked him, if he had been like, "Oh, I like you too," I think I would have actually died. I was not ready. I was not ready for that. I had all these big feelings and all these like teenage hormones, and I was really not ready to have a relationship. And so I think I kind of went into it self-sabotaging on purpose and like creating this situation that could never work out. And part of me knew that, um, because I feared rejection, but at the same time, I desperately wanted rejection so that I could tell myself the story that I did my best. I was doing my best, and still nobody liked me, and still I had to be all alone through no fault of my own. Like I definitely was telling myself all those stories. And I bring it up because I think a lot of us create these stories too. We create these cycles of rejection because we're trying to justify why we're alone. We want to be with somebody, but we're scared of it. So we just create these situations where we're constantly rejected. So we get to be alone. We get to tell ourselves the story that we did our best. It's that person's fault. It's not our fault. When we release the need to create patterns of rejection, we stop being rejected. But there's pros and cons, right? I think I mentioned that in an earlier video in this series. There's just pros and cons to allowing people to like us and allowing people to pursue us and to want us. Are you ready to be pursued and wanted? Are you ready to be loved? What if somebody pursues you that you don't really like, and then you have to reject them? Would you prefer to reject someone, or would you prefer to be rejected? I think these are not necessarily questions that we ask ourselves a lot, but our subconscious minds are asking it. There is a part of you that has asked that question and has answered it. And that part of you has created these patterns that you find yourself living over and over again. That is what I want to work on today. Okay, no more blabbing, Allie. Shush. It's time to get to work. Okay, everybody close your eyes. I'm going to tune in and we're going to take a look at this rejection energy. Okay. When I look at this rejection energy, it has the dark color. Have you seen like dark purple storm clouds? That's what it looks like. It looks like dark purple storm clouds in this torso region, like your core. Okay. Can any of it clear yet? No, no, no. I am seeing a hand that's like holding onto the cloud, and it's just like, I need this. I need this rejection energy. It keeps me safe. When I think about the times that I've been rejected, it keeps me from making bad decisions in the future. I would prefer to be rejected than to have to reject someone. Whew, shake out the energy. Okay, here comes maternal and paternal rejection. I was rejected as a baby, or it's like my parents don't. Okay, it says like I was rejected as a baby, or my parents rejected me when I was a child, and now I need to recreate the patterns of rejection in my romantic relationships so that I can figure this out and heal it. So the real invitation there is to heal to heal those early childhood memories of parent rejection. Can I heal from being rejected by my parents? Even if our parents didn't reject us, I think most of us have the energy of that somewhere inside of us because of, like, even if your parent just one time did a thing and then I'll tell you this. My mom, when I was maybe 10 years old, forgot to make me a plate for dinner, and it still bugs me. It devastated me. I went to my room and cried. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I made you a plate. Come on, I'm making you dinner." And I cried and I never got over it. And I like still have work to do about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to finish working on that. I know my mom did not actually reject me, but my spirit felt rejected and it still kind of feels that way. I'm like, will I cry right now? I might cry about it right now. It was such a sad day in my life. I know that my mom didn't mean to hurt my feelings, but it did really hurt me. And it's not her fault. And I think that's a really good example of how the stories that we tell ourselves are really the thing that hurt us. My mom didn't mean to hurt my feelings by forgetting to make me a plate. But the story that I had told myself was that my parents didn't really love me, that my real job in life was to go to school, stay out of their hair, and take care of my other siblings. Like these are the stories that I was telling myself as a 10-year-old, and then to show up at dinner time and there's nothing at my place. It was just this huge validation, even though it wasn't true. Our brains, we tell ourselves these stories and then these situations show up and we use them as validation to prove that the stories we told ourselves were true. And nowhere is this more true than with rejection. We tell ourselves these stories about what other people think, even though we have no idea what they actually think. And then we use what happens to us to validate and justify our own perceptions that we have been rejected. That's what I want to scrub out today. So let's take a look back at those storm clouds. Storm clouds, can we let go of them? No. Okay, I'm hearing they give my life meaning. They make my life make sense. Here's somebody that's saying something like, they're like, but your mom didn't mean to reject you, Allie. Like, my mom did mean to reject me, and it's different. And it is different. I want to validate that. But also as adults, we get to change the narrative and we get to heal those feelings and we get to start over. As grown-ups, we have the right to do that. We have the ability, we have the duty, the responsibility, the capability, the competence. We have to do it. We owe it to ourselves to go back in time and remember the traumas that have been holding us back. Shake it out, shake it out. Okay. Fear. That says, I just need to hold on to this. I'm not ready to live without this rejection energy. And that's fine. What we're going to do is send in a tube of light to your system containing information on how to release that rejection energy as soon as you're ready. It can be on your own timeline. If that's next year, if it's 10 years from now, if it's tomorrow, that's fine. We're just going to download that information on how it will just naturally clear out and heal up on its own timeline that feels appropriate for your body. Whew, yeah. Feeling the energy course through me. There we go. Yeah, that feels right. Okay, that's good. Okay, for anybody that's ready, we're gonna have angels come and vacuum up those clouds and just suction them out. The angels are gonna recycle that energy. Breathe. Imagine a lock unlocking and this space opening up in yourself and light flooding through your torso and your rib cage and that whole area of you. And this light is going to teach you how it's just teaching you how to live without rejection, without needing rejection, without reenacting patterns of rejection. I know how to live without reenacting old patterns of rejection. I accept a new pattern of acceptance. I accept acceptance in my life. I can be accepted in my life. I now release old trauma and sadness about parental rejection, and I set myself free from needing to create these patterns over and over again. I've learned my lesson. Let's tap it in, breathe it out. Okay, put your hands on your heart. Okay. I'm seeing a thumbs up. Remember to come hang out on Facebook, Intuitive Healing with Ali Duzette, and I will see you tomorrow.